What I'd like to talk to you about today is the idea of building versus buying when it comes to SMS automation and capabilities in general for your business. And a lot of companies that we talk to say, "Oh, there are so many capabilities out there. I think, I know that I need SMS, and it's a matter of how we're going to actually go out there and implement it." And most companies we talk to don't really need to be sold on the idea of SMS being a super powerful engagement channel. But for those who don't know the statistics, there's no more powerful way to engage with consumers today than to a conversational texting, SMS. And the numbers are that texting has a 98% open rate, 98%. And 90% of those people who open their text messages, which is probably all of you, read them in the first 3 minutes alone. So it's not just speed to lead, it's speed to read, and true engagement and true absorption of the messages that you're sending across. And when you do this in a compliant and an authentic way, you're responding to people who raise their hands, who want to be engaged, who just fill out a form, who are looking for a quote, who want more information on a product or service, and you're simply just engaging with them in an effective way. Compare that to phone calls. 13% of phone calls are answered. That's nothing, and that number keeps dropping. And why is that? Well, let me ask you, do you answer the phone from a number you don't know when you get called? I don't either. And if you're one of those people who do, good for you. And how many times do you regret answering it, thinking, "Oh, I thought it was somebody else. Man, I wish I hadn't answered that. That was a telemarketer. That was, So everyone has a guard up now, and they're not answering the phone from numbers they don't know. That's not to say phone isn't important. It's just about where you use it in the funnel and in the process. Email, 22% open rate, 22. So that means that 78% of your email messages are not even being seen, let alone responded to from there, right? There's drop off at every step. But that is why texting has a 300 plus increase in engagement on average compared to phone and email strategies alone. And we're not saying don't use those other strategies, but we're saying if you don't leverage SMS on top, which is the most effective and efficient, then you're just absolutely missing out. So anyways, most companies recognize that, but it becomes a function of, okay, I know I need to leverage SMS. I know I need SMS campaigns to engage with my customers or prospects, but how do I do it? And it becomes a function of, am I going to build this internally with my human resources, or am I going to partner with a company that can provide this? And let me just ask you something. Why would you ever look to build something as complex as an SMS marketing automation machine when you don't do that with other providers? Do you do that? Did you rebuild your own email marketing platform? Do you rebuild HubSpot or MailChimp? No. When you drove to work today, did you build your own car? No. You leverage it's already built that works amazingly, and companies that have devoted their lives and their company lives to building the best-in-class products to service those needs. And so the same is true for an SMS marketing automation platform. You don't want to rebuild something that has taken companies tens of millions of dollars of their own investment, years to get it right, years to figure it out, and hundreds of people to support them in building that out and staying on top of the never-ending changes required. And when it comes to SMS, I want to warn everybody that SMS comes with its own entire world of regulation and compliance surrounding it. It's not just about having the technical capability, which is hard enough to do, to be able to provision phone numbers nationwide, to be able to do it compliantly and do it at scale and have high deliverability rates is another story entirely. And to do that, you have to have the right TCR, the right registrations with the carriers. You have to make sure you're using the right language. You have to know what times of days you're allowed to message. You have to know different states' rules and laws corresponding to those. And you more than anything have to know how to integrate those systems into existing systems and keep up with the changing compliance world, because it is a moving target. It's moving all the time. Just in January of this year, the FCC came out with some dramatic changes that companies need to abide by over the next 12 months, closing what's called the lead generation loophole. But that's just one example of why it doesn't make a lot of sense, in my opinion, for a company to devote so many of their internal resources to try to build something that is a moving target and that will be outdated by the time they're done building it in that sprint, compared to companies that are devoting their entire resources to providing that service and that solution compliantly at scale in a way that keeps brands safe and protected and allows messages to be delivered at a high scale. And so think about that the next time you're looking for a provider. And when it comes to SMS, make no exception and make sure you are aware of the legal risks, the compliance risks, the brand risks of trying to do this on your own without experts by your side that will keep you safe and make sure you're doing it the right way. Because the last thing you want to do is spend resources, time, and money, and then have to rip it all out, spend more resources, more money, and of course, all the opportunity costs and the time wasted to kind of end up at the place you should have started from in the beginning. And we see this kind of all too often, companies that go out there and try to do this on their own and eventually come back and say, I need help. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. This is a lot more complicated than I thought.